Gilbert Sutherland was caught during the To Catch a Predator sting of Riverside, California. He was 26 years old at the time, and using the screen name King Spade 1714, he believed that he was talking with a 13-year-old girl. Over the course of this video, I'll be going over the chat log associated with this incident, and his confrontation with Chris Hansen at the Sting House. Be warned, the content of this video is verbally graphic, and viewer discretion is highly advised. Due to community guideline violations, I will no longer be able to present the chat log portion of these videos on YouTube. This is something that I find to be completely understandable. The content within those pages is absolutely abhorrent, and I didn't really shy away from shining a spotlight on some of those many nasty words. If that section of video is something that interests you, you can find the chat log sections over on my Patreon. I greatly appreciate the support if you do decide to jump over. With that being said, to give you an idea of what happened in the chat log, I'm going to go through it as quickly as possible. It starts out with Gilbert lying about his age, saying he's 21 and not 26, and the decoy confirms that she's 13. After discussing location, Gilbert exhibits signs of arrogance, entitlement, and predatory confidence. In one instance, he even attempts to get the decoy to make the 45-minute drive to him, and when she informs the man that she cannot drive, he accentuates the fact that he would be making quite the effort to come see her, and it better be worth his time. As the pages go on, both Gilbert's grooming, along with his love for himself, intensify. Here's an example of how that plays out. So, what do you want to do if I come over? Whatever you want. Anything? Yep, anything. You're hot. Laugh out loud. What if I wanted to kiss you? Yeah, that's cool. I kissed before. Laugh out loud. What else have you done? Stuff. Laugh out loud. What kind of stuff? Everything. Will you do everything with me? If you want to. You're nice, right? I'm nice, and I'm hot, and I have a really nice body. You got a good voice? Oh yeah. Wanna hear it? After that little round of nonsense, Gilbert learns that he can meet up with the decoy next week whilst her parents are out of town. Following a whole barrage of predatory nonsense, Gilbert seems to have realized what he is doing is wrong. Or, potentially, the paranoia of getting caught got to him, and he tells the decoy that he no longer likes her because she's too young. After calling him a jerk, they stop communicating for 3 days. Strangely enough, Gilbert fires conversation back up by asking how she is. A bit of back and forth is had regarding why he said he didn't want to speak to her anymore, and Gilbert informs the decoy that it was in fact his brother who was using the computer who said those things. Gilbert, it would seem, has no issue at all with her age. Here's how that moment plays out. How are you? Fine. What you want? What? You don't want to talk to me? You said last time we chat that I'm too young and you don't like me. Huh? I never said that. Laugh out loud. Liar. What are you talking about? I talked to you on the phone, remember? Yeah, I know, but when I got off the phone, I came on the computer, and you didn't talk to me, so I asked if you didn't like me anymore, and you said no, that I was too young, and you logged off. Oh shit. That was my stupid ass brother. I'm gonna kill him. It hurt my feelings. After I got off the phone, I never got on the computer. The computer is in his room. Well, somebody told me that. I was sad. I'm gonna kick his ass. I'm sorry, baby. Things are tense for a short amount of time, with the predator smoothing the rough edges of this moment over by requesting more photographs of her for his ogling pleasure. As the chat goes on, there's some confusion regarding where Gilbert lives, and whose computer he uses to communicate with the decoy. This little segment here, I've taken it from my full version of the chat log analysis, and I feel as though it adequately summarizes my opinion on what is going on with Gilbert overall. My opinion would be that he lives at home with his family. He says that he lives with roommates to look cool, and his brother had nothing to do with sending those messages. If I'm correct in this assumption, then Gilbert is forming an image in my mind of a manipulative and potentially compulsive liar, image-focused and sex-driven, a preferential offender who potentially struggles with moralistic decisions based on who he would like to fornicate with. And this chat log right here being a telling glimpse into how that back and forth not only plays out in his mind, but how he might lie to damage control choices that his past self has made. As the chat progresses, things devolve into a rather nasty state, with an increasing intensity of sexual questions and discussion all coming from the predator. It all leads to this potent revelation that Gilbert is in fact a lover of the human foot. We're nearing the end of the chat now, and there's a moment that pops up which got me scratching my head. Following a bout of manipulative behavior from our predator, the decoy handles his nonsense like a true professional. Gilbert is trying to convince the decoy that his bodily fluids taste great, and the decoy is rather curious as to how he might possess such knowledge. She queries the man, and this little gem of predatory nonsense follows. It is at this point that the predator is faced with the person behind the decoy, no longer the constructed character of the decoy, and it appears he doesn't know how to handle it. Instead of taking her very valid, incredibly legitimate question seriously, something I reckon he'd get quite hung up on trying to answer, he opts to redirect conversation back into his control. He does this by stating that he would like to taste her wet pussy, further adding on by commenting that he believes she would have a very nice pussy. I have questions, Gilbert. The most prominent being, do you want to eat her pet cat? How do you even know that she owns a cat? She hasn't indicated once she might. Are you projecting your desires and hoping for the best? And are you so obsessed with the taste of feline flesh that you'd even eat a kitten that is saturated, completely wet as you put it? I am concerned. The conversation doesn't survive much longer after the decoy learns that her pussy might be in danger, and following a question about her being shaved, she becomes unresponsive, leaving the conversation to dwindle to a halt. Looking at the last page for this chat log, here's a little excerpt that I've taken from my original video that accurately summarizes how I feel about Gilbert and the way he has presented himself throughout the 2 or so weeks that they were talking. He's pushy, dominant, has made it clear that he believes he can physically overpower her. He has made zero attempt to connect with her emotionally, to build some sort of bridge between who they are as people. He hasn't asked her anything about her life. He hasn't spoken to her in days, hasn't given her any indication as to why that may be. He is not treating her as though she's a human being at all. All it seems like she is to him is an object for him to abuse. To build on this idea, the decoy knows nothing about him. She knows not his real name, nor his age. She doesn't know where he works, whether the address he gave her is real or not. And now here he is, after days of no contact. There are no attempts to see how she's been, what she may be feeling, no desire to ensure she feels comfortable with their plans. If she has any questions, concerns, he's just magically reappeared, like a busy, predatory wizard, one that has some sex scheduled in, and he's here for his appointment. Let's wrap this chat up with some of Gilbert's words. How big is your bed? Laugh out loud. Laugh out loud? It'll full. My rent's bed is huge, but mine is just normal. I hope I'll fit. I think so. Laugh out loud. You're not fat. Nope. I don't know. My rent's bed is bigger. I wish I had it. Do you want to go there? It's got more room. We'll see. Okay. We can move to it if we got to. I'll do you all over the house. Laugh out loud. Laugh out loud? Wow. What about the bathroom? In there too? Hell yeah. Awesome. I so can't wait. Me either. And that's it. Gilbert is all riled up and ready to go. But I do wonder if Hansen will be in the same mood that Gilbert has found himself in. Hey, there's only one way to find out. Let's head over to that sting house to see how things unfold.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Come on in here, please. Have a seat, please, on that stool.
That's a man on a mission right there. It doesn't look at all like he's entering an unknown person's house. In the chat log, the decoy did state that her room is upstairs on the left, and it would seem that Gilbert was not messing around to get there.
What's going on? Go ahead, sit down. And keep your hands right in the same please. Thanks. Go ahead, sit down. What you doing?
Meeting a girl.
Meeting a girl. And who are you meeting?
Her name's Avy.
Amy?
Avy?
Avy.
Yeah.
And what's your name?
Sean.
Sean. And what's your last name, Sean?
Sutherland.
And how old are you, Sean?
26.
Immediately defensive when answering how old he is. He looks down as though the question disgusted him. Hansen should feel grateful that he's even been gifted a response to such a ridiculous question. Gilbert is priming himself for the "I didn't know she was underage" tactic, and this defensive stance that he's taken here is the first stage of that.
26. And how old is Evie?
18.
18.
Yeah.
Is that what you
Are you
told
telling me she's not 18? Oh my god.
Well, you tell me you had quite a track.
It's truly a convincing performance. It might not surprise you to learn that Gilbert here is actually an aspiring actor. On screen right now is his casting 360 profile. With acting abilities such as this, I'm surprised he wasn't a well-known star at this point in life, hey? I could break it all down in detail, play by play, using slow motion, to pinpoint exactly why I believe this to be a performance, but I don't think that's necessary. I'm sure you two witnessed the same exaggerated movements I did, the abrupt and bizarre slip into becoming upset that she's not 18, almost as though he was expecting it for some reason. And of course, our own knowledge of what was said in the chat log. When putting it all together, this performance looks far more ridiculous than it has any business being. Coming up, there's going to be quite a few stops, so I'll let it play out for a bit to give you the flow of his interaction, and then I'll bring it back here for a breakdown.
You're on this
Yeah.
log.
She told me on the phone she was 18.
It's not what you said here. Hi. 21 male, 714. You, 13 female, 909. What city? Riverside. What was your plan here tonight, Joe?
Hang up.
Hang out.
Yeah. Maybe if I know she's 18, maybe more.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna have sex with a girl who's under 18.
but she tells you she's 13 here.
She said that, but then I was like, "Are you sure?" She's like, "No, I'm 18."
That's not what
She
it
told me
says
on
here.
another number.
Now, why don't we just tell the truth? It's going to be a lot easier for everybody to know the truth, okay? Now, I've got all the transcripts here, okay?
Yeah.
Would you like to hear a sample? What if I wanted to kiss you? Yeah, that's cool.
I'd say that's far enough.
She told me on the phone she was 18.
It's not what you said here. Hi. 21 male, 714. You, 13 female, 909. What city? Riverside.
I find the way he plays with his lips here, using his finger, to be quite a relatable little behavioral tic that I myself do. I'll often rub my lower lip back and forth when thinking intently, or facing a little more pressure than what I anticipated. And that very same self-soothing technique is what I see Gilbert doing here. The pressure is mounting, and by now you probably know how I feel about reading a person's blinking. It could be a sign showing how they're handling pressure, or it could mean nothing. Nonetheless, I do find it noticeable how often he blinks, especially in those moments where he must rest his mouth to re-engage his mind.
What was your plan here tonight, Joe?
Hang up.
Hang out.
Yeah. Maybe if I know she's 18, maybe more.
He's quite a slick character, isn't he? The tone in his voice indicates innocence, as he confirms he was here to hang out, and there's slight irritation when stating that he would maybe do more if he knew she was 18. Let's look at this situation as though he's telling the truth. He's entered a house where he believes an 18-year-old lies naked upstairs waiting for him. He's feeling good about this. Life is working out. And then bam. At the moment where it's all meant to come together, a man in a business suit has a few questions. This would be like if Hansen went around slapping cigarettes from people's mouths as they're about to light up. If he went on a rampage of punching ice creams from hands before a person could take their first bite. If he got into the habit of burning a person's assignment as they go to hand it in, and then crushing the only hard drive which has a backup. I'm not trying to compare or simplify having sex to any of those activities, but what I am trying to highlight is, wouldn't any person have a reaction of, what the fuck is going on here? Who do you think you are? But hey, I'll keep an open mind. I'll cut the predator some slack. Everyone reacts differently to different things. So Gilbert may be a calmer character, someone who wishes to understand even in the face of overwhelming confusion. He stated that he's not going to have sex with someone who's under 18. So what was his plan? Was he going to get up to the room where he believed this naked 18-year-old was and demand to see her ID? It's hard to believe. So even though I would agree that Gilbert's attempt to convey irritation here is actually more in line with what an innocent person would be experiencing, it is so very far from a real response that it's laughable.
Yeah, I'm not gonna have sex with a girl who's under 18.
But she tells you she's 13 here.
It's in the moments leading up to this stop that Gilbert's breathing has become visibly quite heavy. The pressure is taking its toll, and I think this is something that Chris notices. The next few seconds will see Gilbert construct a flimsy defense regarding another phone number where he was told 18, and it would seem that both he and Hansen realize at the same time that the pressure is too much for him, that he can't construct believable lies under this crushing weight anymore, and ultimately this sees Hansen exploit that weakness. He offers Gilbert a way out of the pressure cooker. Tell the truth and we can start over. It's pretty brilliant, as it allows Gilbert to drop his defenses. Then he hands what little control he has of the situation over to Chris, and Hansen constructs this in a way to make Gilbert feel that he's doing this without actually losing any control.
She said that, then I was like, are you sure? She's like, no, I'm 18.
That's not what
she told me on another number.
Now, why don't we just tell the truth? It's going to be a lot easier for everybody to know the truth, okay? Now, I've got all the transcripts here, okay?
Yeah.
Would you like to hear a sample?
It's at this point that Gilbert will change his tactic. He will now begin listening rather than speaking. Listening is a powerful tool, especially when paired with rational thought, and listening mode is always a great way to figure out what's going on in a situation, what sort of trouble one could be in, and more importantly, how can one get out of that trouble. That's what I think we see with Gilbert here, following his admission of guilt. Notice how over the next few moments, the man will almost speak. His mouth will jar open, but no sounds come out. I am speculating, but it looks to me like he's rapidly coming up with ways to refute Hansen's words. Yet a filter in his mind is catching them before he speaks, due to how stupid they may make him look. A filter that many, many other predators don't seem to have.
What if I wanted to kiss you? Yeah, that's cool. What have you done?
Yeah.
Stuff. What kind of stuff? I'm Sean. So are you a virgin? No. Are you? No.
Okay.
Talk about her age, then you say, no, that was my jerky brother who was on the computer. I still want you.
You're right. I'm not gonna lie.
Have you ever given blank?
This look up to Hansen, after fully admitting defeat, is a potent one. It could mean a few things, but I imagine he's analysing how Chris is going to react to him coming clean. Chris, unlike the Predator, is probably enjoying this part of the interaction, as he gets to read the log out loud and witness firsthand how these despicable words can make the owner of them squirm. As he doesn't relent on reading the chat log, it will result in Gilbert visibly showing signs of discomfort. I do imagine this to be quite a frustrating and embarrassing moment for him, being caught red-handed in a shameful lie like this, admitting to the wrong of it all, and then still the other party does not want to move forward away from the cringe fest.
Slang for oral sex. Did you like it? If I'm a good boy, will you do it to me?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I told you, you're right.
Gilbert's extreme discomfort is expressed in the form of a stern recognition over the situation. He once again clarifies that he's not going to lie to Chris, and reaffirms this with a recognition that Chris is in the right. Doing this ensures that there should be no mistake in Chris's mind about where the Predator stands. There's no ambiguity about who is right and who is wrong. Thus, it puts pressure on Chris to stop reading the log and to move on. If Chris were to continue reading at this point, then it would actually be Hansen who is acting in an unreasonable way. And in this subtle battle of ego, I don't think that's a hit Chris would be willing to take. In some instances, the continuation of reading the log is a power play. Generally, when the Predator is dying on the hill of their innocence, does it work to its full effect. But in an instance such as this, where the Predator has admitted guilt, it makes Chris look petty should he continue reading.
So what was your plan, Sean?
I don't know, let's see what happened.
See what happened. Did you bring condoms? Yeah. Do you have them with you?
Yeah.
Put them on the table, please. Now, what does that say about your intent?
Yeah.
What if I wasn't here? And 13-year-old Evie was here. What would have happened?
To tell you the truth, I don't know. I mean, I really don't.
Gilbert claims that he doesn't know what would have happened should have a 13-year-old been here and not Hansen. Most predators answer this question in this way, with the implication that they wouldn't have done anything out of line. Gilbert here doesn't do that. The way in which he answers the question, then reflects on it further after he speaks, says a lot about how honest he's being with himself and with Chris on what his intentions were. Once again, I have a fair few stops coming up in a short space of time, so I'll let it play out for flow, then rewind it back for the breakdown.
You ask about her breasts, only you use a slang term. Have you done this before?
I can't believe it. First time I do anything like this happens.
The first time.
Yeah.
You know, there are a lot of guys
I know
who
think
say the very
I'm a
same
perverted,
thing.
disgusting guy. I know. I can't believe this is happening to me.
I mean, it doesn't matter what I think. It's what you did. So you're saying you've never done this before?
Not a girl that was under 18.
Why today? Why suddenly did you want to come see a 13-year-old? Tell me what you were thinking.
Like girls, what can I say?
Well, there's a difference between liking girls and liking girls who are of age.
You know the drill. Let's take it back.
Have you done this before?
I can't believe it. First time I do anything like this happens.
The first time.
Yeah.
As I said before, although he's saying the same things that other predators do, I believe there to be truth to his words. I would argue that this is probably his first time meeting up with a minor from the internet, but that's not actually what is of interest to me. The tone and delivery of this line seems to hold frustration and anger. It's almost as though he's the victim here. He's been inconvenienced by this, and things are unfair for him.
You know, there are a lot of guys.
Holy moly. Hansen really rolled the word guys on that one, hey?
You know, there are a lot of guys
I know
who say the very
I'm a
same
perverted,
thing.
disgusting guy. I know.
Another glimpse into how I believe Gilbert's mind works. Hansen was on a train of thought, and has barely started his second sentence exploring it, when Gilbert interrupts. It looks like Gilbert believes that based on hearing the first part of what Chris said, he might know where the man is going with it all, and instead of choosing to wait it out for the full delivery, he instead opts to interject his own thoughts. If Gilbert is willing to interrupt, and to do this whilst under pressure like this, I imagine the man would be quite the serial sentence finisher in his everyday life. And that does line up with my analysis of him so far. This shows that he might think that he knows much more than others do. It is believed that finishing another person's sentences could occur for a range of reasons. It could be a sign of insecurity, impatience, excitement, or even emotional understanding. And it's even been attributed to ADHD and OCD. So I wouldn't say that because Gilbert does it once here, it's a clear-cut example of how his mind operates. What I am saying, though, is that it's interesting to ponder this behaviour as a possible element of his personality, especially when placing that alongside many of the other things we've learned of him.
I can't believe this is happening to me.
Directly following that thought up with yet another example which could indicate how self-centered he is, Gilbert says, "I can't believe this is happening to me." I know I'm being very picky with his words, but it's because, for many reasons, I don't trust him. And when I don't trust someone, I scrutinize every word they deliver to me, as a way for me to be able to rely on something that I do trust. that being my own instincts. By scrutinizing his words like this, I can build a profile of who the man is, whether he speaks truth or not. And this is one such instance where I'll do that. By him saying, I can't believe this is happening to me, rather than, I can't believe this is happening, it shows how self-focused he might be, how he could have an ego complex, a main character in the video game syndrome, someone who would have believed that he was playing a game here where the rules of getting caught didn't apply to him.
I mean, it doesn't matter what I think, it's what you did. So you're saying you've never done this before?
Not a girl that was under 18.
Why today? Why suddenly did you want to come see a 13-year-old?
This question that Hansen tends to ask most predators is one that I think about a lot. Why did you come here? Tell me what you were thinking. What motivated you to do this? I think about it often because of the many different answers that it gets. And by this design, I think that it is mainly used for the cameras, because as we all know, it can really get the predators to say some wacky stuff, hey. I've seen predators who go on a long-winded and convoluted explanation about why they're here. Maybe they'll say they're here to buy a house, or to go to the beach. Maybe they've come around to party, or to teach the minor about the dangers of the internet. Maybe they're depressed, their life sucks, they're going through a tough divorce. And as much as I try to stay professional, somewhat professional, when watching things like this, I gotta say, it's all ridiculously entertaining, hey. Especially when Chris comes crashing down and says, I understand that your life might suck, but it's no excuse for molesting a minor. Only a fool would disagree with the man. And no matter how foolish these men are, I've never seen anyone disagree with that notion. There is another response though that greets this question, the honest response. And it's always a lose-lose for the predator, whether they're truthful or not, because these honest answers are equally as memorable, quotable, and often downright nasty. In this space, one may hear things such as, sleeping with her would be the cleanest, best pleasure. I'm a sick son of a bitch. And in Gilbert's case here, this is what he has to say for himself.
Tell me what you were thinking.
I like girls, what can I say?
I like girls, what can I say? It's pretty ridiculous, but I mean, we can't fault his honesty, hey? As uncomfortable as that honesty might be. The nonchalant delivery of this line is so bizarre to me. Is he stating that he believes within every man lies a closet predator, thus his predicament is relatable? Is he so desensitized to his own predatory drive that he really can't see the problems with saying this? Is he trying to be funny, evasive? It's overall a very strange moment, and one that only Gilbert will ever truly know the answer to.
There's a difference between liking girls and liking girls who are of age. No one has an issue with that, with people hooking up on the internet. The issue comes when you use the internet to try to solicit somebody who is underage, and that is against the law. Do you understand that? Do you understand why that law is in place? Because a 13-year-old is not of an age where she can give consent legally to have sex. It's very simple. 18? No issue. 13? Problem. Do you remember when you were 13?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Were you ready for this sort of activity when you were 13?
Me, personally, no, probably.
Okay. So why do you think Evie would be ready for that activity with somebody who's 26 years old?
There's girls that are like that, I guess.
In one short line, he's exposed the idiotic workings of how he applies logic to sexual scenarios of this kind. In the predator's mind, although sex may not be for everyone at age 13, for some it's fine, and using his expert opinion, here he has found himself with a person who he believed ready to go. Yet another clue that his egotistical way of existing considers only what is good for him, whereas everyone else is but a side character in his game.
I guess. First of all, you lied and said you were 21. What should happen to you?
This is the most embarrassing thing ever in my life, and
He's not wrong about that. And the cameras haven't even been revealed yet, hey?
I'm going to touch a computer again.
You're not going to touch a computer. What do you do for a living? Do you have a job?
I just got a temp agency job.
Face scratching as his voice distances his words from Chris's answer. Whatever is going on there with his work, I would bet money that there's some underlying problems.
I'm going to school.
What are you studying in school?
Fire tech.
What's that?
Fire tech.
Fire tech.
Fire tech, hey? I wonder if he was ever considering to become a firefighter. Could have really done something good with his life. Helped some people, put out fires, evacuated buildings. Maybe even rescue a pussy or two stuck up in a tree, as long as he didn't try to eat them afterwards. I hear Gilbert likes that.
This is the kind of thing that can get you into an enormous amount of trouble.
This is the worst thing I can possibly imagine. I can't believe this.
Did you have any second thoughts as you were
Yeah, I was just like, she's really young. This is like really weird. But like, I mean, if she wants to like hang out, why not? Wasn't doing anything.
Aren't there girls closer to your own
Yeah,
age that you
yeah.
hang out with? I mean, what's wrong with that?
What's wrong with that is, in my opinion, the man is preferentially attracted to minors. It pains me to say this, but he's far from the worst looking predator that I've seen. He also seems pretty confident, is intelligent, appears to have more personality than some of the other predators do, or at least the ability to feign personality when required. So his pursuit of younger girls, I think, is not something he stumbled upon with this decoy. It's more than likely been something that he's circled around for quite some time.
Well, a couple things I have to tell you. One, I'm Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC. And we're doing a story about adults who try to...
And so that's Gilbert Sutherland, hey? I don't have too many additional thoughts on the guy that I haven't already thoroughly explored throughout this video. The man is an interesting case study, that's for sure. The usual signs that seem to drive predators towards these sting operation decoys doesn't really seem present with Gilbert, which does make me nervous. In other instances where I've thought to myself, even though that guy was a danger, I really don't think any young teen would have given them half a chance. But with Gilbert here, I do think he was on target for hurting someone. At this point in time, he's a liar for sure. One whom everything we learned about him could be false. There's no way to verify anything with this man. And that is important to take note of, because when I'm reading the chat log, I'm generally trying to experience it from the perspective of the decoy, but more importantly, a young child. Sometimes the predators give us little clues as to who they are. They give us last names, addresses, job locations, where they hang out, and what they like to do. But Gilbert gave us nothing, and everything that he did provide very easily could be a fabrication. So who is Gilbert Sutherland? A predator, that's for damn sure. At this point in time anyway. Found in his vehicle were 2 pornographic videos, one titled Gang Bang a Teen, and next to them a disposable camera. He was charged with attempted lewd acts with a child under 14 years of age, and attempted oral copulation with a minor under 14 years of age. Both felony offences, with a $50,000 bail. There's actually a decent amount of information out there surrounding Gilbert's trial. The summary of it is that Gilbert tried to stall the proceedings for as long as possible using a few different tactics. When the trial eventually occurred, he claimed that he never believed she was 13, and that the girl begged him to come over by calling him 3 to 4 times. The phone calls were actually not allowed into the trial due to hearsay concerns, and my eyebrow is definitely raised more so now than ever regarding us not having access to them. It would be very interesting to see what he was trying to submit as evidence that supported his case. Ultimately, he was found guilty after fighting this case for more than 4 years, and was sentenced to 1 year in county jail, 3 years probation, and he was ordered to register as a sex offender for the rest of his life. Since then, he hasn't had a charge against him, and I could find no further information on the man. Let's hope he's kept it this way, and he's been staying out of trouble, hey? And that brings us to the end. As always, my friends, thank you for watching. and I'll catch you hopefully sooner rather than later. Take it easy.